Standing on the rock. Morocco. Here we go. Moabite Mo. Let's flow.
Up from the grave, no longer in the dead state. Colonization claimed my consciousness, but now I'm awake. Broke the chains of being ignorant, I stand on the truth. Competent in my proper person, rocking the boot. Navigating through the waters in the leanable right. The seven seas, all I send me, so I'm bringing the light. Can't rewind the hands of time, so I'm expanding my space. I'm from one human family, the human race. My pedigree is in my blood, I'm forever a Moor. Asiatic, mobile body, and I'm ready for war. She redeems when I speak, and I'm speaking to me. Assistant and helping uplifting fallen humanity. For the record, on the record, neither Negro or black. A troglodyte, my people suffering, we only attack. My people perish from true knowledge, we so desperately lack. So why in the hell would I want to go back? No. You can't go back to that. Being a slave of my mentality. Broke the chain that was bound to me. Listen to me now. Can't go back to that. I'm on the left, you're on the right, and the left. Melanated radiation is right.
Yeah, we don't regress but progress. Crystals back and no stress. With the feds and not liberate the mind's oppressed. Staring at a wall in a hole, show you a ladder. Which is not a thing you climb, but your seven chakras. Ask Jacob. 5 up, assalamu alaikum. Left foot first, so standing on the square, take 'em. The opposite of get out black holes into life so marvelous. You get scared from fright. False and light. Tonight appears real, you just might. Sit the trap, can't move, just paralyzed. Paralysis that you only get if you sleep. Your heights are so deep, the depths are so deep. Intelligent hoodlums and the rest of the presidency. 2 shots for drink champs, Nori knows Drew Ali. Call me a seen Babo step, you think like the colonists. Even though Nostradamus told you what your problem is.
Can't go back to that. Been a slave of my mentality. Broke the chains that were bound to me. Listen to me now. Can't go back to that. I'm on the left, you're on the right, and the left. Melanated radiation is right. Can't go back to that. Been a slave of my mentality. Broke the chains that were bound to me. Listen to me now. Can't go back to that. I'm on the left, you're on the right, and the left. Melanated radiation is right. I rise to give honors to Allah, the father of the universe, to Noble Drew Ali, to Grand Chief Cujo Awo El, King of Moors, for sharing this mic with me. Temple number 5, to my son, my firstborn, for producing these tracks. Hassani Mosa, 206, also known as Preach to God, and to DJ Funk Daddy, the best in the West, Washington Republic, and to my Emperor, Islamism.
People are afraid to pursue their most important dreams because they feel that they don't deserve them or that they'll be unable to achieve them. We, their hearts, become fearful just thinking of loved ones who go away forever, or of moments that could have been good but weren't, or of treasures that might have been found but were forever hidden in the sand.
30 more say the prophet's name won't teach the same universal lessons, keep you slave chains on your brain. Wanting Moorish presidents when that's the prophet. If he was around, most grand sheiks' heads he'll off it. Guilty by association, off your head too, for riding with dirty Moors that made a mockery of Drew Ali. Dirty Moors from Canaanland to Cali, used to be LB, now they claim Ali. Keep thinking that they for you, but get ignored, given lessons in pieces like a jigsaw. Leave you puzzled, your third eye muzzled, mind smuggled. Know how to say the right thing, keep lies subtle. Really win with truth bait, lying eyes and truth face. Ego Moors make you carry their suitcase or hold their umbrella. He walks like a fruitcake, prophet watching from the soul plane. The route you take, who's princely stepping? Demons or genuines? MSTM members or Moorish Americans? 90 plus years running a fraud, that's why you know every prophet and Ali but not Drew. Keeping you away, they have a deep, dirty more crew, causing confusion. This dirty more crew will tell you partial to have chains on your brain when it should be parcel, a free national name. Drew Ali got revenge by Moore's eyes wide open, not Morisco world eyes wide open. For her could make those lips clap, using Frank Gary, brother Larry, journalist traps. Homoerotic, stray cat Moors dissing the mothers, putting blame on active Moors for current gains and others. Fake profits, heads on the coin, and pictures next to the noble. Today the treasury balance is zero, the total. Study, study, study. When you're finished, study yourself. Dirty Moors, judge your attire and judge your bookshelf. Study, study, study. When you're finished, study the law. When you study no trance by Moorish hymn composers. Study, study, study. When you're finished, study the higher. Dirty Moors cook out death smell from Oscar Mayer. Study, study, study. When you're finished, it's never finished. Dirty Moors selling status correction clinics. 500 per class pass. I'd rather watch Taj and have a clear perspective on the Moorish path. Faculty and student, Moorish Heritage History School. Don't endanger your life with a fool. Islam, Moors. Peace and love, Moors. Before we get going, we want to add one more thing.
City threatens $300. Elizabeth Warren forces City of Cambridge to extort Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. City threatens $300 daily fine if Dr. Shiva does not remove campaign banner with slogan "Only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian."
On April 5th, 2018, one of Shiva for Senate's campaign volunteers received an email from the City of Cambridge stating that if the campaign did not remove the slogan, "Only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian," from the side of our campaign bus, we would be levied a $300 a day fine.
No, we'll just start here. Islam, Moors. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Islam, Moor.
Islam.
Yes, another one. We got some more today for the Moors. The Moors who just love learning. We got some more today. So, Brother Yusuf tells me about there's some billboard or whatever with this Indian man from India, Shiva Ayyadurai, and this $5 Indian, Elizabeth Warren. So I'm like, okay, let me just Google, see what comes up. So what comes up is a campaign run by Dr. Shiva. Remember, do your research on Shiva so you know what's going on when Noble Ali brothers from the East and all this stuff. So he's running Dr. Shiva. And Dr. Shiva is doing his own campaign, standing up for his right to free speech. You can't tell me I can't say something. Now, why are they really coming at Dr. Shiva? Why are they really coming at Dr. Shiva? Because he's shattering that myth that Moore's been telling these so-called black Indian whoever's that stop the BS. Indians are from India. You don't want to hear the Moors? Fine. Hear a Hindustani Moor. Hear Dr. Shiva tell you, FOH, with your Indian BS in America. No justification as an identity for a people in any way, shape, or form, notwithstanding. Because we have it right here, the Indian. Now, the Indian now, because the Indian is a national, he understands constitutional rights.
Yeah.
So when he's in a country that's not his own, the supreme law of the land is the constitution for that place. Not some act or some ordinance or some Hers revised statute the Noble Juali put on the back of the 101s, so that means that's the law. Supreme law of the land, constitution. Straight telling the city of whatever that, hey, why are you guys trying to extort me to fund you guys' campaign against me? How you hit me up for 300? Oh, you know what? We'll just play this stuff.
From a factual standpoint, the campaign slogan is not on my building, by the way, which I pay nearly $70,000 to the city in property taxes.
Oh, you got them there.
Campaign
But
did
hold
not
on, though.
remove
Yeah,
the
you was
slogan.
You think that wasn't on purpose?
Hold on, let me rewind. Let's start again.
With slogan, only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian.
On April 5th, 2018, one of Shiva for Senate's campaign volunteers received an email from the city of Cambridge stating that if the campaign did not remove the slogan, only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian, from the side of our campaign bus, we would be levied a $300 a day fine. From a factual standpoint, the campaign slogan is not on my building, by the way, which I pay nearly $70,000 to the city in property taxes. The slogan, only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian, is on my campaign bus, not on my building. Our bus was
Oh yeah, and that also proves all you so-called Indian whoever's that you don't get any tax exempt benefits being Indian because you're not from here. So don't get mad at the European when they don't want to treat you like Indian. Don't get mad when the red man kicks you Negroes out of their tribe or whatever. Because everybody knows that you're Moors. You don't want playing around. Everyone knows that we're Moors. And everybody who knows that we're Moors, in them, has Moors somewhere in their line. That's why, again, Dr. Shiva, who's a national from somewhere else, Shiva Ayadurai, he's not from here. That's not a here name.
Yep.
That's not a here name. But he still knows enforce the Constitution on these city of whoever is trying to claim they have some type of jurisdiction, hit me up for 300 to fund their stuff when we're against each other. The BS are you talking about?
Yep. And you actually hitting them harder with the, out with the message he's putting behind that.
Exactly. Exactly. They're getting the double. It's gonna be funny to see what the dumb public does. Which way the dumb public puts their vote. It'll be interesting to see.
Because I'm standing in the middle of the street trying to snap a picture of it because they have that sign where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm standing in the middle of the street trying to take a picture of it. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. They just put that up like that? Like, you can see it bright and early. I don't know if you got the picture, Grand Sheet?
Yeah.
I sent you the article. Yeah, they got a poster up saying the fake Indian or whatnot.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, all the people on there, you could just pull that up. Just pull that up.
It's crazy. I'm saying, like, the message behind that, with him putting that up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and the other thing too, like, yeah, you can play that, switch positions and game all you want with these people, but when I come around, or when we come around, who do know and do study, like, look at, like, you're not gonna play that game.
You're not playing
me.
that game. You're not playing that game. Don't even go there. You know what I mean? You're not playing that game with us. Because we're nationals. We're not these dumb Negroes who you guys used to, because we look the same, only thing our hair straight. You're thinking about, you're gonna put some Negro stuff on me. I'm national. I know about constitutional rights or whatever.
Yep.
You see me compromise, call myself John Ayadure or whatever. I'm not you guys' property. I'm Shiva.
Right.
You know who the hell I am? I'm Shiva. You know who you're talking to? Oh, you're gonna, okay, talking crazy. All right, ritual on you. You really think you're not against Shiva right now? You really think that they're not against Shiva right now? You got the big slogan on the bus, be the light and all that?
I love how he did it too. Like, I'm not gonna bicker with you guys. Straight constitutional right.
Straight
I'm not
constitutional
gonna say,
right. You're violating
this. Oh, but the fact is that, you know, this is that, and no, constitutional right.
Yep. And again, it goes back to even what we were dealing with on the weekend with the weekend class about when they violate, about going after the bonds and things like that. You know, the real go after them is sue them. But but in this time, every suit better be class action.
Yeah.
Because to file individual suit is, they can just wear you down, which is what they do with people. They just have you keep going and going and going and set date and new date and over date and change room date and whatever. 2 years, you'll be in some damn suit with them and nothing happened. But them just grinding you down, you know, which is where the studying and all that takes, you know, and plays an important role. Because that's really what your force field is. Your knowledge of self. Like, how much do you really have in you, with you at all times? You know what I mean? That, you know, when I said, we need guns. Lots of guns. It's like that. It's supposed to be the knowledge that we got as Moors. That it's not even a question. You violate, oh, constitutional violations, you're getting sued. Use this as an example. I remember he's running for their stuff, and he's not taking the BS. It's not like he's an outsider. He's running for Senate, and he's suing them.
Right.
You think that this is not some circus going on?
Yeah.
Refurbished and painted by local students and citizens in Massachusetts who love our campaign and are truly inspired by the principles of what we stand for, one of them being free speech. For nearly 14 months before we received this complaint, we've had signage on my bus, which no one said anything about. And I parked the bus in the same parking lot, in the same spot, on the property that I've owned for nearly 20 years. However, when we updated our new banner on the bus, that's when we got anonymous complaints. It's clear this has nothing to do with the building code, because we're not violating any building code. The slogan is on our bus. This is clearly a direct violation of the First Amendment, and it's pretty obvious that Elizabeth Warren has forced the city of Cambridge to extort monies from our campaign. But we will not allow this to take place. We've been through this before. In August of 2017, the city of Boston and the mayor of Boston attempted to violate our free speech rights when I spoke at the Boston Common. It was 40 of us facing nearly 40,000 people. The city had lied to the citizens of Massachusetts and told them that this was a Nazi rally. If you look carefully, you'll find out that I'm actually speaking about the fact that we need to stop GMOs, stop companies like Monsanto, that in fact Black lives do matter, and that we need free.
I'll just, take a pause for the cause. Because you already know the Black lives is some BS. The Monsanto and all that stuff, yeah. But we already know that he's not up there on some brown guys for Black Lives Matter. He's national for Black Lives Matter. So just in case there's any Black Lives Matter supporter or whatever that are down for that, slave tag, Black being your identity. We don't condone that part of what Dr. Shiva is talking about for Black Lives Matter and all that. We're not in that. That's destruction for our people. So we're not there. And he knows that because, again, he's a national. He has his own name. He has his own culture. He has his own flag. I know, yeah, I'm sure more saw the circle 7 right there, but yeah. Yeah, more.
Yeah. I'm loving it right now. I love how he's doing it right now.
Yeah.
He's giving away too much.
Yeah.
That's why they're on him. You're giving away too much.
Yep.
You know, he has a PhD, so he knows.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and they get the proper education where they at. They get taught that, and like the brother from the East told me, oh, we learned that in 2nd grade, that this is y'all land over here. Like they know that. So he knows.
2nd grade.
Yeah, we like looked at me like, yeah, we know that. So I'm pretty sure the PhD brother up there from the East, he knows that where he's at, what he's doing, what he's writing for. So he knows what symbols he's sending out right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Because that and going back again to the real Indian and the fake Indian is a killer. Like that is rib shots all day. Amazing.
Both ways too, man.
Yeah.
Like for all you Indians that be seeing you Aborigine Indian, no. Columbus thought he was going to India, remember?
Yeah.
He didn't go to India. Y'all not Indians. Y'all not Indians. This ain't India. That's what happened. And he's letting y'all know that. Like, remember? You got yourself for the string, walking around here calling yourselves American Indians.
Yep.
Still. This ain't India.
Nah, you're Indians.
right. Right. It's still going with it. It's still going with it.
Free speech has nothing to do with anything Nazi-like. On St. Patrick's Day, when our bus went to the parade, the local politicians, including Mayor Walsh and his supporters, attempted to force my bus out of the parade because of the signage that we had.
Yeah.
Now, what Is that another symbol? Why is the Arab, so-called Moor, going to the Irish parade?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now we know, if you know history, the Moors was kidnapped the Irish by the millions. By the millions. Why are you showing up? Out of all the parades, why would you go to that one? That's why why this guy, he's doing a lot, man. He's doing a lot. Just listening to him, he's doing a lot.
And why? Because he has to have a background of world history.
Yeah.
And law. Have to have a background of world history and law. Why not go to the Saint Parade's Day, whatever? Put the green hat on. Because he's not from here. And again, when you look at his message, he would get all these Europeans or whatever's vote.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, not because of PhD or whatever, but because everybody knows that it's about enforcing the Constitution right now. Well, you go back to the supreme law. As soon as there's discrepancy, immediately, yo, let's just check the supreme law of the land. It'll be done right there. Whoever violated, they pay their fine or whatever, and you know, whether it's they lose their hand or their foot or they got to do community service, whatever. You know, the jail might be tie them in the pig pen. That's the jail. You don't need bars. We'll leave you outside, but you chill with the pigs as jail. But this man is straight putting the city on blast. Straight putting the city on blast. He has to know more than the average individual would think.
Oh yeah. And I know that they must not like him because I never even knew this was going on.
Yo,
I never, and I'm here in so-called at Massachusetts. You know, I'm here. I've never heard of this. I was just walking to the store and I was like, oh wow, look at that. And then did the research and I'm like, oh look, everything's tied back to the Moors. Everything. I was amazed by this. I was like, right where I'm at. I didn't hear it. They must not like him because I don't never hear anything about him. Nothing. Not in the newspapers. Nothing. Never even knew he was running for anything. Nothing. Nothing. And I'm here.
That's crazy.
Only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian. But we were very fortunate because the main organizer of the parade, who had the permit, wouldn't allow it because he wanted to make sure free speech was defended, and he had actually fought Mayor Marty Walsh, the mayor of Boston, before. This is my message to Elizabeth Warren in the city of Cambridge. Only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian.
Yo, hurting them.
Yeah.
Hurting them. Hurting them. Give thanks, Dr. Shiva. If I was there, you would get my support, yo. But I'm not giving you no credit card online. Forget that BS.
That's not happening.
But give thanks. Give thanks, Dr. Shiva. And honors to all the Eastern Hindu sages and masters and gurus and whoever else that touched the plane and left something for us to, ground ourselves. Give thanks to all of the true Indians.
Great.
We give a shout out to all the real Indians, the Hindustanis.
That's right.
Right? And all you fakers, all you $5 Indians, we've seen you. I want to give respect to the mother Wahid Ubuntu. The mother dropped one. We had to try to assist her a bit. But she had 18 thumbs down.
Crazy.
She had 18 thumbs down because she was talking about the Moors were the biggest traitors in history. She got 18 thumbs down, right?
A quick video, hopefully. But you guys know I'm like...
Oh yeah, parental advisory. Parental advisory.
More, I can't officially say I'm a Moor yet because I haven't claimed my nationality as of yet. I'm like one of those people who isn't gonna jump into the water until they get completely comfortable, So I haven't claimed it yet, but the more and more I learn, the more and more I definitely believe it's legit, and I definitely believe that before I turn 30, I will be a Moorish national. Okay, so I've done a few.
Islam to that for the mother. Islam to that.
Islam.
Islam to that. That's proof.
Right.
That's proof that when Noble Drew Ali presented for the Moors, once the message is put out there, those who are on the frequency are going to gravitate to it. No questions asked. That's just what it's going to be.
Yep.
Right? Just like the mother, right? Going through it the same way that we tell people, you know what I mean? Don't rush into this because you found out something new and go do whatever. Slow down, take your time. You know what I'm saying? If you're coming to this because you got something going on, then, can't do nothing for you, man, really.
Nope.
You're going to have to either bite that bullet or do a intense know thyself rites of passage program that, in a month, you're going to be at it. Because you're devoting all this time to a month only to studying. And that's it. Nothing else matters. Not even food. Not even eating. Not even say hi, how you doing to somebody.
You got to be the one.
Right?
Like Neo or
you
something.
better be the one. When the bullets go in, you better be able to get that kiss, wake you up.
Yep.
You are the one. So there's no becoming a Moor. We'll correct that too.
Right.
You're a Moor. You're just unconscious of it. And what Noble Drew Ali did was, you know, bait you with you're not Negro black color. So you're like, what? Huh? What do you say? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? So now you're in. So you've been taught your whole life that you're in Negro black color. Or whatever else somebody made up and said that they called you. In or indigenous. You're still Indian. You can't be that. You're Moors. We're Moors. We're unconscious of that. And Noble Drew Ali brought that consciousness back to us about this history. Oh, since we're talking about the history, you got the book there, Mark? we gotta do something.
Okay.
We gotta do something every time we get together. The book, man. You know the book.
Yep.
Yeah, let's get an excerpt. Let's get an excerpt.
Oh, I got one. Hold on. I got one.
Right. And again, you know, this is not, you know, we're giving Sis the honors for this one. You know what I mean? Because 18 people hated just because she said she's a Moor. And that's huge. We love that right there. We love that. We love that. They're hating because you said you're a Moor? Good. Let them hate.
Yeah.
Let them be mad because you found out the truth. Let them be mad. Don't worry about them. Let them be mad. Point is that you found out the truth. And you finding out the truth is now going to allow us to let people see that, hey, everybody's getting on this. Sis just on YouTube letting you know that she's been studying this and she can't find anything wrong with it, really.
Right. Like, hey, I can't be black. That's not a nationality. Like that, it just hit people like that. Like, wait a minute, I'm not even black. My skin's not even black. Like, it starts hitting people like that.
Yeah. That was like this sister today. She did something and then did the fist or whatever. It's like black power. I said, not brown power. It's like, well, they said, nah, man, I'm black power. I'm like, hey, you don't look like your hair. And she just looked at me all day. Yo, no more words, yo. She just looking at me. Every time she see me, she just look at me. Don't talk to me. You're just looking at me. I'm like, good. You got it, didn't you? Yeah, you think about that. Let that sink in for a sec. I hope you enjoy that. Have that for lunch.
Yeah.
Messed up all day.
Yeah.
Messed up.
I mean,
You know what I mean? Messed up.
it works just like that. So today. Oh, okay. So another one, a little story for him. So over here, they have a wake up movement that they have around here. They don't call it quote unquote Black Lives Matter, but it's in the guise of that, and it's called the Wake Up Movement. And the man who runs it, I know him, and I knew him for a while or whatnot. But he knows that I'm a Moor, or my nationality. Used to follow me on Facebook or whatnot, so he knows what we're about. And he has events where all our people are supposed to get together and have information go around and stuff like that. And he knows that I could help out a lot, but he's never has asked me to come to none of the events or anything like that. And I don't want to step to him about it and make him feel uncomfortable, so I never say anything to him about it. So it comes to find out. So I left him alone. So my son, we know about. He goes to school. I go to my son's bus stop to pick him up every day. This little boy gets off the bus, and I see him. I'm watching him, and he's looking for his parents to pull up. And his parent pull up. It's the guy that I know, and I'm like, oh wow, look, my son and his son end up going to the same school, and it ends up coming up that his Moabite comes and asks me one day. He wasn't there. She asks me, because the bus comes at 4:30. She says, I get out of work at exactly 4:30. I can be here at like 4:35, 4:40. Can you just wait 5-10 minutes with my son? And, like, I'm like, of course, I love, and the thing is, they're only going to ask for more. The guy with the fez on, you know what I mean? Like, I stand there at the bus stop every day, fez on and stuff like that. So it just bugs me out because she's never talked to me, but I'll have something about him that I'm going to ask him to wait personally with my son 5 to 10 minutes. So, and then maybe because of the dude, he probably told her who I was or whatnot. Yeah. But me and her personally, we never talked.
Right.
So I would wait at the bus stop with the young man, and with the little boy. But the thing was, I always looked at it like, wow, the dude that I know personally, he never would invite me to none of the events and speak to the people. But now I have your son, and I'm just giving him all the information. and he's 7, right? And my friend, this guy, he pulls up, and he's like, "You've been telling my son, you've been building with my son, telling him the stuff, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, telling him." He's like, look at his dad. He goes, "Dad, I need a dictionary." And I was like, "Here we go. There we go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Dad, I need a dictionary." And I'm like, "Yo, see, that's all. I didn't even forget the whole thing. That's all I wanted him. That's who I wanted him right here. His 7-year-old son." And I was like, see how all that worked, man? Like, it didn't even matter. And now I get to just,
You're gonna get it anyways. You're gonna get it anyways, yo.
You're gonna get it anyways. And it's crazy too, because when you was talking about the colors, I was going over the colors with him at the bus stop, and I was just to test them to see, to see how it worked. And they almost got him, Grand Sheik, because I did the, well, let me see how smart you really are. You know your colors? And then, pointed at stuff, made him do the colors. And then I pointed at the conveyance, and he said it was black. And then I said, okay, you good. And then I said, well, what color is your arm? And he said, black. And he looked at me and he said, brown. And he just yelled it. And I was like, that's right. Don't you let nobody tell you you're black. That's right. That's right. That's right, man. You know you brown. You know you brown. 7 years old. You know you brown.
You know it.
You know you brown.
Straight. It's that real.
But I found that excerpt.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I got you. I got it.
Yeah, boy, good, boy.
Islam. You know the book. We are all Moors. From Anir Majid, page 83. Says, okay. In a 1960 speech at Harvard Law School Forum, Malcolm X affirmed this global community by saying, quote, "We here in America, who are under the divine leadership of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, are in an integral part of the world of Islam that stretches from the China Seas to the sunny shores of Africa. Malcolm X made the African-American struggle global once he broke ranks with Elijah Muhammad in the Nation of Islam by founding the Organization of Afro-American Unity in Ghana to represent Afro-Americans in the Western Hemisphere, correcting the provincial misconception that United States Black struggle was confined to the United States. As he explained in the June 28th, 1964 talk at the Audubon Ballroom, quote, "Many of us fool ourselves into thinking of Afro-Americans as those only who are in the United States. America is North America, Central America, and South America. Anybody of African ancestry in South America is African American. Anybody in Central America of African blood is Afro-American. Anybody here in North America, including Canada, is an Afro-American. And if he has African ancestry, even down in the Caribbean, he is an African. He is an Afro-American. African ancestry." Okay, hold on. Malcolm X was well aware that the term Moor meant quote unquote black, and that the red, the brown, and the yellow are indeed all part of the Black nation, and therefore, broadly speaking, Muslims. So even El Hajj knew that we were all Moors.
Right, and then right in line with Noble Drew Ali. Remember what El Hajj just said. And what El Hajj just said. "The fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know of his higher self and lower self. This is the uniting of the Holy Quran of Mecca for the teaching and instructing all Moorish Americans, etc. The key of civilization was and is in the hands of the Asiatic nations, the Moorish, who were the ancient Moabites and the founders of the holy city of Mecca, the Egyptians, who were the Hammatites, and of a direct descendant of Mizraim, the Arabians, the seed of Hagar, Japanese and Chinese, the Hindus of India, the descendants of the ancient Canaanites, Hittites, and Moabites from the land of Canaan, the Asiatic nations and countries of North, South, and Central America, the Moorish Americans and Mexicans in North America, the Brazilians, Argentinians, and Chileans in South America, Colombians, Nicaraguans, and the natives of San Salvador in Central America. All of these are Muslims." Echoing what Noble Drew Ali said.
That's right.
And yes, Elijah Poole Bey is from MSTA, and he became Elijah Muhammad. And in the early Nation of Islam, they wore fezzes and all of that. They had nationality cards and all that. And then also too, since we're talking about that, also remember Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And then him getting Ali, because Elijah Muhammad, being from MSTA, knew that that name was exalted and because somebody could put that on someone. And then, of course, Muhammad being Prophet Muhammad, right? So if they're calling him Muhammad Ali, they're really calling him Prophet Ali.
Mm.
And he literally did save Nation of Islam because they used his popularity to gain members. Now you know why they're big as they are. Look at the time frame of when he was with them. He was with them. He was at the top of his stuff. Used the Free National name to not go to the draft because they could only draft Cassius Clay. They can't draft Muhammad Ali. They don't got no jurisdiction over no Ali.
No.
They're not gonna talk about it like that. They're gonna talk about it like he doesn't want to go to war. It was all a game. You know? Because if they called him Bay or L or whatever, that would be too big. Then they would have let everybody know that everybody's Moors. But they use Ali as you know, like it's common. It's a more common name that it's not gonna raise alarms of the connection to the Moors because people were just connected to Arabic and that's it. If you said Muhammad Bey or Muhammad L, people would definitely have a different perspective as to why he did that when they tried to draft it. They've always been telling us that we're Moors. Our eyes been closed, missing it. But now we have the fez now, we have the light now. So we can see all the BS that these people have been playing around with us.
Rick, you got a question?
Yeah, more.
Why did everybody else in the Nation of Islam get X, but he got Ali?
Yeah, because they knew the upper people in the Nation of Islam knew about nationality and birthrights.
Mm.
So they're not, it's like the Moors who say, we're gonna not get people kidnapped. And then they go out and then they really not get people kidnapped. People are gonna start flocking to them. So they use him in the same way that, yo, if we can get him to correct the status, and then because he correct the status, him not be able to go to the draft, then that would prove our quote unquote nation of Islam that we are. So all the other people who were around at that time, that were X's at that time, they should have been granted the same privilege. But again, you can't, how much people are you going to name Ali? Because it's an exalted name. So it's going to fall back on them. They start just calling people Ali. And again, you can't say they or Al. because that'll give it away. And you definitely can't say L or Bay, because that'll give it away. So that's when now they started coming and they start bringing Shabazz and bringing all these other names, because, you know, it is their birthright. So they could, you know what I mean? Remember, we're talking about people who are Moorish Science Temple. So they're not coming in dumb of what, of if you're sovereign, then you could say that you're the grand whoever. You know what I mean? That would only mean that that's in your little club. That's not something that everybody has to call you that. You know, the grand whatever.
Yep.
You know? So like, so another example is Captain Joseph X, who he said, you know, declared corrected to Yusuf Bey. Nobody even asked any questions about, hey, hold on a second, how come this guy's a Bey or whatever? What do you mean he's Nation of Islam, he's a Bey, and nobody's not asking any questions? You got 5,500 million X, and you're talking about, you're not asking the Bey guy how come he has Bey? You're not going to question why he has Bey. How the hell did Joseph X be Yusuf Bey and no one asked any questions? You know, forget him telling people, hey, I proclaim my nationality, you should proclaim your nationality too. Just the fact that he used to be Joseph X, and then all of a sudden he's telling me, no, it's not Joseph X, brother, it's Yusuf Bey now. And then you're not freaking asking questions? Then they definitely have the Kool-Aid going on over there.
Yeah. Agree. See, this is a little okay.
Okay, no. With one more brought up with the X being used for the neophytes, right? And then the Islamic name is for the adepts, right? That lets you know that they're running club, because this is everybody's birthright. Noble Juali, Elijah Muhammad knows that. Farrakhan knows that.
Yeah.
All these people know that this is the people's birthright. You can't tell me that he could be a Bey because he's an adept and I have to be an X because I'm not adept? What you mean? This is birthright. How are you telling me when I could be Bey and L or whatever? Think about it.
Yeah.
If we're going to look at this from that perspective of neophyte and adepts, the subject matter is not knowledge. The subject matter is a birthright. So there's no adept or neophyte in that. There's no adept birthright and a neophyte birthright. This is how they play people out the birthright.
Yeah.
Because people think that the birthright's attached to the club, and that means that somebody can tell you you could be it or not be it. And what proves the neophyte is how long they got that X. If they got that X, they've been in the Nation of Islam 200 years, and they still got X. Then that's a problem. If there's so many members that have X for neophytes, that's the issue. How much dues does somebody have to pay to get their birthright? Like, what do you got to do? What do I got to do to get the birthright?
Oh, that's what they did with the knowledge. They made different membership sets.
Yeah, because and then that's why they have the problem book and all that.
Yep.
And supreme wisdom lessons and all that stuff like that, because they're playing the club. That, oh yeah, you go through the degrees, and when you go through the degrees, then you become the whatever. Well, how about first class? You give me all the stuff, and let me go study. Not taken away from the lesson.
Right.
You know, but people are afraid of others getting knowledge. Because if somebody has more knowledge than them, now they feel, oh, then I'm not important because that guy has more knowledge than me and all that. That's not what this is about.
It's back to clubism, playing leadership.
Playing leader BS. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to be putting the sisters' stuff up. But like we say, in this age, hey, everything's a lesson you could learn from on this stuff right here. You know what I mean? Right? No, it's not. When you say Masonic, you mean Moorish. Don't even say Masonic, because Masonic is Moorish. Matter of fact, since you went there, and we're talking about Masonic, right, we would say that Baphomet is Masonic. Right? We would say that Baphomet is Masonic. The Sufis, Idris Shah. The Sufis, Idris Shah. When they were suppressed, the Knights Templar were accused of worshipping a head, sometimes called the Baphomet or Baphomet. This was considered to be an idol and probably connected with Mohammed. The head was described, but no head which could positively be identified as one of these Baphomets could be located. Probably relying upon contemporary Eastern sources, Western scholars have recently supposed that Baphomet has no connection with Muhammad, but could well be a corruption of the Arabic Abufi Hamet, pronounced in Moorish Spanish something like Bufimat, Bufihimat. The word means father of understanding. In Arabic, father is taken to mean source, chief, seat of, and so on. In Sufi terminology, Ras el Famat, head of knowledge, means the mentation of man after undergoing refinement, the transmuted consciousness. It will be noted that the word knowledge, understanding used here is derived from the Arabic FHM root. FHM in turn is used to stand both for and derivatives meaning knowledge, standing for black coal man, and so on. The Baphomet is none other than the symbol of the completed man, the black head, Negro head, or Turk's head, which appears in heraldry and in English country ensigns, is a crusader substitute word for this kind of knowledge. It may be noted that the shield of Hughes de Payne, the founder of the Templars, in 1118 AD, carried 3 black human heads, the heads of knowledge. The use of this term, especially the wondrous head theme, reoccurs throughout medieval history. Pope Gerbert, who studied in Moorish Spain, is stated to have made a brazen head, among many other marvelous magical things. So when you talk about Grand Lodge, you're talking about quote unquote heaven on earth. Because when you go inside there and you look on the ceiling, you're going to see the constellations. Which as you know that they're not dealing with, this is a building. They're not dealing with these are rituals and we're doing these rituals and then there's going to be some desired effect. They're pretending to be Moors in secret. In the open, they're European whatever. In the background, to do all the rituals, they have to be Moors. They have to put fezzes on. They have to wear black cloaks and green cloaks, orange cloaks. They have to have candles and they have to have white and black floors and they have to do all these things, which is them pretending to be Moors. Hiram Habib is the Asiatic black man who doesn't know himself, got hit in his head, and now he's in a shallow grave in North America without his Bay or his El or his Day or his Al or his Ali. And the ones who have it, they look at them like they're crazy people because why are they being something Turkish? They're not Turks. Talking crazy. Right? Lodges, like the Moor said, set up according to planetary bodies. Right? Every being is a state. That's why these people have Morocco on their fez, Arabic on their fez, Islam on their fez, Egypt on their fez, Shiva on their fez. They're living manifestations of what used to be. But they're imposters. Because the real ones who are supposed to be really invoking those powers want to be Egyptian chematologists, black whatever, Hebrew whatever, and don't want to have a connection to the divine.
Or it doesn't matter what you call yourself.
Or it doesn't matter what you call yourself. Right? When you talk about aristocracy titles, you're talking about Moors. You know, Europeans that used to rule Europe. You know, British Freemasonry is some European thing. When you talk about the prince of the royal secret, the prince is son. The royal secret is mother. That's why mum's the word. The prince is the lower self. The royal secret is the higher self. Telling you, people been playing with us. Thinking we're getting some supreme knowledge when they've been playing with us. They haven't been giving us anything. What's supreme? Nothing. Hiding away stuff in adept chambers talking about that's the book of whatever, when there's all this info out here. And then they're trying to keep you away from that, tell you just read Quran only and read 101 questionnaire only. That's how you be a real Moor, just read Divine Constitution, because Noble Drew Ali said Divine Constitution, read that only. Well, I read other stuff, it says study. Right? You know, okay, bringing up trust. You can't have a trust if there's no trust. You find me 20 Moors that trust each other. When you find those 20 Moors that trust each other, guarantee you, those Moors don't need any trust. Because everything's in their free national name. Well, if it's going to beneficiary, beneficiary is right there. There ain't no beneficiary not anywhere around that they don't know, okay, well, if something happens, what's not theirs, what's theirs? They're more too. What do they need something if they're there? Right? NOI is not using a Freemasonic model. NOI is using a Moorish Science Temple model. The Fruits of Islam is the Mufti force, without fezzes, with the uniform still. Jacked everything, changed the name, and said that there's something different. When they could have just stuck to the program and everybody would have had their birthright, because everybody would have went NOI. If really whatever, everybody would have went NOI. Whoever would have studied Moorish Science Temple, whoever would have studied, everybody would have been fezzes up. Everybody would have had an El Bay or whatever like that. We would have just been in different organizations, which would have been unity. But nah, you don't want to be El Bay and all that stuff. You still want to be niggers. Still want to be African. Still want to be all this stuff that you're not. Still want to claim about you're African, but you're still in America 30, 40, 50, 60 years. You're still in America. You didn't go back to Africa yet? The hell are you doing here still? If this is the wilderness of North America and Babylon and all this stuff, what the hell are you still doing here? Fuck out of here then. Like, go somewhere. You still here? Talking crazy? And when we try to tell you that, no, you're from here, you're giving us argument about why and all that type of stuff. What do you mean, why? Because your ass is still here. If you weren't from here, your ass would have got up and left. But you're still here. You're African. The hell are you doing in America? Well, we built here. So why the hell did you build here? Why didn't you build back home? Well, because we came over here on a slave ship. What do you mean slave ships and stuff like that? And then they can't deal with the truth, and then they end up getting mad. Don't get mad. Proclaim your nationality. Be a Moor. There's people over here who are from over there that are Moors. They come to the temple, proclaim their nationality. They got nationality card and all that stuff. They're from over there. They're from across the Atlantic. And they live over here, but they're saying they're Moors. They're not saying they're from what they are over there. They're not saying they're Nigerian and Ghanaian or whatever. They're saying they're Moors. What the hell are you talking about? Right? Mother got excited and stuff like that, coming out trying to tell you about your Moors. You got 18 thumbs down. FOH. All you Negroes, all you Moor haters. FOH to you. Moor haters.
Thomas was crazy.
Right? More, yeah, let's go to some of the comments just to see these Moor haters out here. Just to see these Moor haters. Melanated visage. The Moors conspired with the Europeans to destroy and enslave Judah and Israel. Oh my gosh, here we go. Here we go. Here they come. The yellers. Here come the yellers. Right? What enslaved Judah and what enslaved Israel? Look up Judah and Israel in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary and then tell me about how you could enslave that. Do that. Do me that favor. Anybody who's down with the Moors conspired with the Europeans to destroy and enslave Judah and Israel, look up Judah and Israel in a Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. You can get it online. You don't need the book. Good try, though. And you tell me how you can enslave that. I'm talking about some enslaved in America people and they got Jordans and stuff. FOH. What enslaved what? You have $80 skinny jeans and you're enslaved? FOH. None of that Israel and all that BS. Right? They followed King Leopold. Oh, here we go.
Yep.
Here they go.
Yep.
Right? They followed King Leopold. Follow King Leopold? Do you know, do your history on the propaganda behind destroying the credibility of the Fez? You know how much lengths people went to for the Fez not to be in existence right now? Do you know there's people, there's a story. That same BS that you're talking about with Leopold or whatever. This is early. This is like early 2009. I remember it was winter time. It was winter time. And I was going to the subway. It was early morning. It was like 6 o'clock, 6:30 or something. It was early in the morning. And this is like just having the Fez. First maybe 2 months or something like that, having the Fez, you know, getting like weird reactions and stuff like that. But this was the weirdest reaction. Walking, and there was a lady with a child, and she was from some African country, just from some African country. And she was just walking with her daughter, talking or whatever, talking. And when she got to me, yo, she stopped and she screamed so loud and started running. I was like, what the hell is going on right now? Started running. So eventually get to because it's like a walkway. It's like an underground walkway before you get to the ticket booth. So by the time I get to the ticket booth or whatever, they have this lady calm down or whatever like that. And a man there was saying how she came from some war-torn country. And the people who were butchering people and all that stuff had hats like that. That's what freaked her out. Even right now, I have goosebumps for that one because that was a crazy one. And that was, you know, like part of where the Who Stole the Fez book came from. Because I was doing research about, you know, like what, the Fez is that serious? Like, what do you mean? Like, because remember, all we know is the Moors in Mecca. As far as Moors and Fezes and all that stuff, like we don't know anything else.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was like some culture shock. That, like, you know, was almost feeling bad about wearing the Fez. Like, oh my gosh, like, oh, because there's probably going to be more people that, you know, would have that experience, because there's a lot of, you know, refugees and whatever here. Like, you know. But there was propaganda put down in order for the headwear of the Moors to be looked at as, you know, something not righteous. You know, they want it to be perceived as not right, not righteous. Right? But if anybody was in the chat, sorry, I missed some stuff there. Let's head back here.
Videos on the Moors. Or maybe I've done one. I mean, I don't know if I upload all my videos or not on the Moors, but I just wanted to address this whole ideal of the Moors being the biggest traitors in the world to their people, you know, and how fucking, excuse my language, okay? I've been trying to cut back the cussing, all right? Probably a little too much because some people are afraid of cussing around me now for some fucking reason. I don't
not
even
on
know.
This channel, not on this channel.
But I've been trying to cut back, and this video I might let a few slip, all right? So I heard that the Moors were some of the biggest traitors, all right, in the world. Now, let's talk about this. Okay, let's really talk about this. Now, people say that the Moors are the biggest traitors because they sold slaves, they conquered African nations, they did a whole lot of other crap. But what people don't realize is that a lot of that African history that you're talking about and that people love to throw in your face about how great Black people were, how awesome Black people were, they were not called Black people. They were called Moors. All right, I'm probably more.
You gotta get the wiser for that one. gotta get the wiser for that one. Because that's what it's about right there. Just like little brother looked at his hand and said, "Black, hey, no, I'm brown." That was my bad. Sorry about that. There was no such thing as Black people. Don't, especially if you're an adult, don't even let these people try to play that you're Black. Don't even let them try to play you that you're Black. And again, think about this, just like what Sis was saying. Think about all the BS that Moors did do. Think all the BS that Moors did. Just take a moment and think about some of the BS that Moors did. Whether it was true, fiction, whatever. Now, for all that negative, there's positive there. How is there positive in that? Because we had a prophet that came to us that told us to learn to love instead of hate. So we can get rid of all the hatred. So we can get rid of all the things that are always holding us back and always have us against each other. But some people don't want to stick with what it is. Some people want to be disagreeable to the principles only. Forget other stuff. Just the principles. They're going to tell people they're not going to go to court with them because they don't know them. I'm not going to court with you. I don't know you. What temple are you from? You're not from my temple. I can't go to court with you because I don't know who you are. That's crazy talk. That's disagreeable being talk. Again, Mother said, I'm not going to jump in the deep end. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to study. I'm going to learn. I'm not going to rush. Right? Everything so far on point. Said black people, corrected it by destroying it. We're not black people, we're Moors. Even though I just said black people, don't get it messed up. There's a lot more. You have anything or you're good? Yeah, you must be good. Or you're muted.
My fault. I'm sorry.
The whole time?
The whole time. The whole time. The whole time. The whole entire time I've been
Go
on
again. Go again. Go again. Go again.
No, I was just saying she's killing it right now. She was killing them.
Yeah.
She's going right in, telling them, nope, nope. Like you're not getting away with the Moors were the biggest race traders. Well, guess what? There wasn't nobody calling themselves black at that time. So whatever we're gonna go in after that, let's get this out the way right now.
Right.
Nobody was calling themselves black at that time.
At that time. The time of the race trading going on. There was no black people.
None.
Into that because I learned that, you know, so-called black people, the name that our oppressors gave us, all right, while everybody's so comfortable claiming they're black and they're proud and all this other bullshit, they're African Americans, they're colored. Oh my God, I don't even want to get into the whole color shit. That's
right.
Get into
colored
it.
people.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into it, okay? Because some of y'all know how I feel about that, all right? Y'all know how I be feeling about the whole people of color bullshit that's just sprung up out of nowhere thanks to these white liberal colleges that have put this out there, all right? So in history, before there was a so-called black person, so-called colored person, or so-called African-American, we were called the Moors and or Berbers, all right? I learned this in high school English class, all right? It's kind of weird, but then I realized, you know, I was in an honors English class, so I have no idea, you know, what other people were learning. I have no idea what's going on. I just know this is what I learned, you know, which is.
What Drew Ali say? Is that good European education.
Yep.
Get that good European education and I could use you. That European education that, you know what I mean? We all bashed it and all that stuff, said that it was some BS or whatever like that. Don't forget, the Moors taught those people who are teaching people BS. The Moors taught them. So don't think they don't have a library at home and they're not teaching their children what's really good. That's why their children go to those schools that are BS and pass. And our children go there, and some of them do good, but they could be doing way better than what these people are doing. It's only because perspective. You ask any other nation, for example, like we know people that played professional soccer, football, basketball, whatever, right? Like when we were at the club, they were doing their sport, whatever. When we were at the whatever barbecue, they're doing their training for their whatever. When we were at the whatever, they were doing their sport, whatever. That was their fun. Our fun was go wherever, do whatever. Right? Grooming. This information will groom you. Now again, Mother is coming in new. Already has the foundation of this, that you're not black people. That's the foundation of this. And then black comes with the additives. And that once you go to this European institution, there's gonna be a time. There's gonna be a time. Like she said, yeah, in English class they said we're Moors and Berbers, and then that's the last time you heard about it. Never heard about it ever again. Right? No. That one time, you're gonna have that one experience in high school that is gonna be the thing that starts you off on your path and has you. It might not even be high school, but in early life, there's always a reference point to the Moors. You know what I mean? Like we talked about with us, there's this picture at the family's house, everybody in the house, ever since we were babies in arms, these pictures been around. It was just, you know, picture that's everybody else. Oh, okay, you know, whatever. Start studying this info now. Bump into the picture. The picture is a picture of the 4 Moors. Never ever once did it even enter my mind to say, hey, everybody has this picture. I wonder what this picture is. Let me go look it up and see what this picture is. Never once. You know, there's that one thing that's gonna make this be personal to you now. It's not gonna be you read it in a book. You know, it's gonna be a thing that it now becomes you. This Moorish nationality and birthrights paradigm. It's actually gonna become you. And then you'll have that eureka moment of realizing, damn, I've always been a Moor. Like, I'm not just starting to do this. When you really sit back and you check yourself, you look around, you're like, hey, everything's the same. I didn't change anything. Ancestors always been guiding me. You know, they're the ones that made me go through all that stuff I went through for me to be here right now and knowing I'm more. You know? It's heavy. You have any additions, more?
Yes, good sheet. The Leopold thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, go in.
Now, what is it? What is it they say? The Moors did what with Leopold? They follow. What did it say in the chat?
Hold on, let me see if
I want to respond to that.
Yeah, hold on, let me find this thing.
I had to go digging in the crates for this one.
They followed King Leopold.
Okay.
They followed King Leopold.
The Moors followed King Leopold. All right. I got a book called The Volume Library. Yep, the volume library on page 1687. Leopold. It says Leopold. Leopold, as a cover for his venture, formed the International Association of the Congo, called the AIC. to which tribal chiefs promised their allegiance. It was recognized as a country and renamed Congo Free State. Leopold became its sole sovereign in 1885. His atrocious exploitation of the natives, publicized in 1904, prompted the Belgian paramount to annex the Congo in 1908. So it wasn't the Moors who followed Leopold. It was the tribal chiefs who promised their allegiance to Leopold.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Their tribal chiefs promised their allegiance to Leopold. Those Congolese so-called people did that to their own people.
Yep.
Don't try to blame the Moors. They joined forces with Leopold and did that to their own people.
Dress them up like Moors and have you think that the Moors did it. And then have you hating on your own birthright. Because you think, how could the Moors have did that? You see the pheasants? You see the pheasants on them, you know that those are the Moors that did that. No, those are tribal chiefs.
Yep.
Those are tribal chiefs, Congolese, who sided with Leopold and sided with the Moorish Inquisition. Get these people's culture and do whatever with it. Do whatever. Take it around the world and do anything that you can with it that is gonna make it have a negative light.
Yep.
Really what pushes me into wanting to claim my nationality. But back on topic, okay, because y'all know I'm ranting. So, so people say the Moors are the biggest traitors to their race, all right? But we can see today that Black people ain't shit. Okay, we're not leading the nation in fucking geniuses. We're not leading the nation in fucking in anything really other than in crime. Of child abuse, just complete fuckery, you know? And if you want to be even more legit, we got a lot of Black people who are fighting for the U.S. Army. All right, I met a young man who came from Africa, all right, just to join our army, our Air Force, you know? And I don't hear anybody calling these people traitors. I don't hear anybody calling these people, you know, the worst people in the world when...
No. Well, let's touch on that too. One thing in our revamping our thinking, we have to be very strict in making sure we correct things once we have knowledge of them. Right? So you get knowledge of a concept, you analyze the concept, you apply the concept, it works, so you have to revamp. Knowing that we are Aboriginal and indigenous to this land, nothing that is so-called theirs will you call yours anymore. That idea of because you're a citizen, your mayor and your license and your prime minister and your army and your military will even go there. That's their stuff.
Always was.
Because they are not your government. They are private foreign individuals with ulterior motives. So you probably shouldn't be pretending that they're your government and claiming something of theirs is yours. What else? You had something more?
Islam. You can't say something, you can't say, especially your army, like that's your army, especially proclaim Moors, knowing that you're a Moor, when you know the history, when you know that their army, their navy, their first invention of the navy was caused because they didn't want to pay tribute to the Moors anymore. So that was the first reason why they formed the navy and spent millions of real gold and silver to make that navy. And then now, if you look at the history now, 200 years later, the Moors are joining that. Something that's not even, it can't be theirs. If you look at their history, it's something that was formed to stop Englishmen, Persians, or whatnot, from paying tribute to the Moors. But now, look at us now. We're joining, not only we're joining, we have the mind frame of thinking that's ours.
Yeah.
That's our army. That's our navy. Our government. Always, like you said, that's not. You got to get that out your mind now. Of that being your government, your army, that's not none of your stuff.
Yeah.
We recognize them.
Exactly. We recognize them. Let's get some more.
She's killing them.
Yeah, she's definitely killing them.
They're legitimately going over to other countries, killing other so-called Black people, killing other so-called people of color. I don't hear that, but you hear people talking mad-ish about Moors. You hear people talking mad-ish about all this. And then if you want to get even grimier, let's look at Chicago, one of the worst cities in the fucking world. All right, Chicago is one of the worst cities in the world. That's how it got the name Chirac, because more people die in Chicago than Iraq. All right, well, I should probably say more people are shot than in Iraq. Chicago has a horrible crime rate, and people want to bring up St. Louis, and they want to bring up all these other predominantly Black populous cities, but we don't talk about that. So we're the biggest, if you want to be legit. People who claim to be Black, people who take on this oppressive ass name given to them by their oppressors, okay? Given to them by their oppressors. Black people ain't giving themselves the name Black. Black people ain't giving themselves the name African American. Black people didn't give themselves any of those names. Black people gave themselves the name Moors.
Right?
Islam, boy. I felt you.
Right. The way she's going in, and for her, to watch her from the side, sitting from the stands, to see someone coming into the information anew, you know what I mean? To watch that happening, it's like, it must be a campaign against the Moors. You know what I mean? Like,
has to be.
What do you mean? You see this?
Yeah.
You see her?
Yeah.
Like, it has to be a campaign. Like, it's just like regular to her. Like, like all this nonsense out here that's going on, and we're just gonna just talk about the Moors like that. Like, what's that? It has to be a campaign against the Moors.
Yeah, more subscribe to the mother and give her a thumbs up too, so we could, you know, balance out her 18 thumbs down. These haters out here.
Right.
Just send her some thumbs up.
That comment thing was crazy. Her comment section was crazy. She's in there battling too.
Huh?
In her comment section.
Yeah.
She's in there battling though, letting them know. Like, nah, nope.
Don't even get it twisted. You know, and like we said, you know, Drew Ali told us uplift fallen humanity. Because once you wake up mother, this stuff is done. Once mother wakes up.
Wake up swinging, cussing everybody out.
Cussing everybody. Cussing everybody, yo.
And if you look at history, you'll see that we called ourselves Moors. All right, it wasn't the white man. It wasn't no fucking nobody. It wasn't no Asians. It wasn't anybody. It was what we called ourselves as we went through the entire world, conquering countries over and over and over. And people are so cool with claiming that, which is what blows my mind. Everybody wants to claim on how.
Yeah, well.
Real quick too.
No, take your time, bro. Take your time. Make sure they understand.
Because I know, you know, we read books and we hear a lot of people tell that the Moors went around conquering countries. Now, more than we talking about the art and cult of civilization. You don't go around conquering countries when you're the art and cult of civilization and you bringing people out of the dark ages. That's not a conquering people. That's not what you do as a conqueror. That's a European, modern European author writing that in some book, trying to still write good things about the Moors, but not give them all the credit in the world still.
Right.
So they do that, and I've seen that in literature too. Like, okay, why would you write that? Like, call us conquerors, but we're the art and cult of civilization. We did the philosophy, all about chemistry, everything, but we conquered Europe and we conquered Spain. Like, no, we didn't. They welcomed us in there with open arms. Everybody loved when the Moors came in. That's not a sign of a conquering people or a conquering nation. When the whole people are welcoming us in with open arms.
Yeah.
So like I like to. I remember my brother Abdullah too correct that too.
Yeah.
With that going around with the conquering or not that's not conquering.
Straight up.
Talking arithmetic, reading, writing, everything, philosophy. Thought process, people think, common sense, everything, and that's not conquering. From people who were sleeping in the house with their chattel.
Yeah, and you know we want the mother and people who are viewing to, you know, not look at it as a put down like you said that.
Oh no,
yeah,
not at all.
You know what I mean? You know, it's for you to see how broad the brush could really be when you stroke. You know what I mean? You know, your stroke could be way more broad. So you can see it from a wider perspective. Because that's one thing. The lens gets wide when you start studying more science.
Awesome. Black Africans. The Africans didn't even give themselves a name. Africans. You feel me? Didn't even give themselves that name. But y'all want to hate on the Moors all day. People want to hate on the Moors all fucking day. Why? Why? Because it's popular. You know, it's the same reason people hate on Trump. It's the same reason people hate on everybody. It's because it's popular. It's popular to be hateful for something that you don't refuse to look into.
Yep.
She goes back to what the prophet said. They're jealous of his fame and nobility.
Jealous of the fame and nobility. Right? Make sure you study Noble Drew Ali, sis. Make sure you study Noble Drew Ali. Study what your prophet left you. Not what people say about your prophet, but study what he left you. 101 questionnaire, Holy Quran, Moorish literature. So you can see that he brought you everything it takes to save a nation for you to save yourself with it.
You to understand.
And RV Bay Publications.
Oh yeah, RV Bay Publications. Can't forget them. Make sure you check out RV Bay Publications.
A lot of people get pissed off that Trump might go into war with somebody else, but they didn't even know that we've been straight fucking with Russia. If you want to call yourself a U.S. citizen, people don't even know we've been straight fucking with Russia, dog. The people who have the highest chance of sending a nuclear bomb over here. All right, for when was it? I know for a fact it started back in like 2016, August 2016. August, September 2016 is when the last reports came out that I know for factually that we were standing outside of Russia's borders with fucking Navy ships. You feel me? But nobody wants to talk about that. You know, nobody wants to talk about the real. They just want to go with what people tell them to believe. And this is kind of why it's in my heart. Like I said, I haven't claimed my nationality publicly yet because
you're a Moorisist.
We know now.
We know now. We know now. It's public now. Islam, boy. Islam.
You made
Islam. You made it. You made it home. You made it home. Just know that you made it home.
You made it.
Like I said, I'm kind of a little pansy about it. I'm a little bit like, I don't know, you know, when it comes to it, because I don't know the process to take. I just don't know. You know, the belief concept of it, I fully and totally understand. You know, I fully and totally understand why you would want to go back and call yourselves Moorish, because that's the last name that we are officially known and that we call ourselves. You know, before we got conquered by Europeans, before we got conquered in Spain by Europeans. I'm still learning about that, the whole Spanish Inquisition. You guys definitely look into that. I've been looking into it. That's really when shit kind of turned. If you look in, some people will even tell you that's the first form of racism in reality, where people were judged off of their race. And it's just weird. You know, it's weird how many of these people who want to claim the greatness of Black people or the so-called greatness of Black people, but they also don't want to look at the fact that that's where we came from. You know, we weren't these fucking hippie flower ass children. Okay, we were conquering shit. We were taking over some shit. You feel me?
We weren't the Robins. We were the Batmans. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, we weren't the small fries. We were the large. We were the extra large fries. What do you mean?
Right.
What you mean? You know, we ran this.
You heard that voice? Confidence. You heard her? You heard her?
Right? We ran this. Right? Straight confidence. You know, and then that's too another sign of people who are students. Because people who are students, when they speak about Moors, or they speak with some pride about Moors.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when they speak about Moors, they speak from their gut. Like, you know that they know what they're talking about when they're talking about Moors. They don't even have to be yelling at the top of their lungs or anything like that. Matter of fact, the ones who talk quiet are the scary ones.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
The Moors who talk like Elder Indian.
Yep. Yep. And he looking crazy. My mom might tell you, she'd be like, I can't bring your son nowhere. He in the parking lot. Mommy, why are there so many Europeans here? I'd be like, oh wow. Out loud. Boom, over it. Can't bring your son nowhere.
Nowhere.
You don't know nothing else?
You don't know nothing else. Yeah, what you always say? Crackers?
Because that's what I said. If he would been like, Mom, why are these white people in here? You would have just looked at him regular. You know what I mean? You just looked at him regular. But now you say Europeans, you ready to grab his mouth?
Oh, yeah.
Don't
say that.
Don't say that. Don't say that. You know what I'm saying? Rather you cuss. Rather you cuss than say that word.
Rather you cuss.
Rather you cuss than say that word. Rather you start MFing. Say, yo, European.
Don't call them out their name, man. Don't call them out their name. Do not call them out their name. They're Europeans. Don't be mad to say it either. Don't be mad. Don't get to, oh my God, let me just say white man instead of Europeans. Nah, say Europeans. Right. Call them Europeans. They know what's up. They know what's up.
Pretty ass Moors came in and fucked shit up. Y'all want to be like, oh, fuck the Moors, oh, the Moors ain't shit, or da-da-da-da-da, but then you want to sit around and talk about black pride and black nationalism and da-da-da-da-da. You feel me? It's bullshit. That's what it is. System. You want to talk about white supremacy. You want to talk about, oh, it's white people. Because why? Because white people didn't, I mean, you use their name, you identify with them, you refuse to look into your actual history. So I feel it. It's going to be white supremacy. That's a whole nother video. The white supremacy video is something else in itself. All right.
Make sure you do that white supremacy video, sis. Do that white supremacy video. We did that.
We don't cater to white supremacists who put out the white supremacy mentality. You know, we don't look at white people in a sense of fucking, oh, you must be better than me because you're white, bitch. No, I'll agree that. Been done. You know, once you actually look into the actual history, you know, you look into the history of the Moors, you see the greatness that the Moors did. Then it's simple shit. You know, it's easy shit. It's simple to look at a white person and be like, you're just a human. Like at the very least, you're just a human being. All right. I know your history. I know that 9%. I think I said 3% before, but I'm going to go to 9. Like 9% of you participated in the slave trade, while the 90% of them were dying and starving and killing themselves. Okay. Sorry, not killing them. No, killing themselves. Suicide was pretty huge. While the majority of them were like it is today, fucking just miserable, fucking slaves themselves. You know, the Moors conquered white people before white people ever conquered the Moors. You feel me? And it's sad. You know, it's fucking sad that we're at this point where people feel so comfortable to just shit on actual history because that's what the popular opinion is. You know? So that's it.
Islam, sis. We appreciate it.
Islam, sis.
We appreciate it. Keep studying. Just keep studying. rvbaypublications.com. Make sure you go to the Sister Standing on Law tab. Go listen to some of those archives, Sister Standing on Law, so you could embrace classes when it's just you and your mothers there, you and your sisters, you and your grandmas just chilling, getting some info, you know. But good session today, Moore. You already know how we do. Oh yeah, we got to close out with a we need to get a quote before we close out from the new Bible. The new Bible. Just pick up age. Just pick up age, yeah.
Okay. This is why you gotta get the book right here. We are all Moors, page 80. On the eve of Noble Drew Ali's death in 1929, W.D. Farr Muhammad, probably born to a man from East India, what would later become Pakistan, and a white English woman on February.
Oh. They're fighting it. They're fighting it. They don't want this. They don't want this. That was an abrupt hang up too. They were mad. Oh, voicemail. Phone probably died. Got him. Oh my gosh. They are serious. Please, what?
Please, boy, they cut me.
They cut you, bro. They cut you. They cut you hard.
Oh, that's the part.
It's like you can't read from that book anymore. No more of that book. No more of that book.
I'm telling you. Here we go. On the eve of Noble Drew Ali's death in 1929, W.D. Farrar Muhammad, probably born to a man from East India, what will later become Pakistan, and a white English woman on February 25th, 1891, in New Zealand, appeared in Chicago after having entered the United States via Canada illegally in 1913.
Mm-hmm.
With an anglicized name, and having joined okay, write this down too. He came over in 1913 with an anglicized name and having joined the Theosophical Society of San Francisco. So people should do their research on that place. Then Garvey's UNIA, and once in Chicago, the Moorish Science Temple. Quote, while attending the Ahmadiyya Mosque in the city's south side, end quote. Before Muhammad moved to Detroit in 1930 with an estimated 120,000 so-called black people to peddle exotic clothes and such, Noble Drew Ali had passed away, and Farr Muhammad soon started preaching to Drew Ali's working class customers, establishing a movement of Muslims as opposed to Drew Ali's Muslims. Officially, the Lost Foundation of Islam, stressing consumer discipline, education, strict dietary laws, and pride in one's origins, was founded on July 4th, 1930. But it will be Elijah Poole from Georgia, down on his luck in the cold, forbidding North, who would designate the mysterious Farr Muhammad as God incarnate after meeting him in 1931. The following year, Farr Muhammad was arrested on strange charges pertaining to a follower's alleged sacrifice of another man. Then again in 1933 for disturbing the peace. And in June 1934, Farrar left abruptly as he appeared in 1929, leaving behind Elijah Muhammad, as Elijah Poole was now known to lead a fractious movement caught up to intercede conflict and division. And then it also says that okay, hold on. Okay, by 1960s, the man called the Messenger was firmly in control of an organization whose members carried identity cards similar to those issued by the Moorish Science Temple. And I yield the floor right there.
Islam. Oh yeah, just put that book on the record again. Somebody was asking in the chat.
We are all Moors, from a Nur Majid ANOURMAJID. We are all Moors.
There you go, Sister Calypso. Anybody else out there?
I just found it very interesting that he knew all of those facts about who started what first. You know, wasn't even hard for him to explain none of that. Like, yeah, it was all that stuff came from Noble Drew. All of it. That goes back to why you were talking about Clarence X, Muhammad Ali. All goes back to that, and why everybody in there got to carry on X. So because that's when they took certain parts of the Prophet's information and turned it into membership and made money off of it. So-called money off of it.
And again, that was due to the people being where they are. Right? Opposed to putting people onto the science that no, it's not. This is not about membership. This is about claiming their birthright. They made it be about membership. With regard to the legal shield, well, as Moors, we're lawful, so I don't need anything legal to represent me. I'll put it like that, Brother Bay. If there's a such thing as a legal shield for Moors, I'm straight because I'm lawful. So I don't need anything legal to do anything for me, Moorish.
Yeah.
Now, lawful shield, you know, you might consider some prepaid lawful, but some prepaid legal, they got the black guys down there doing prepaid legal. I could go to them because I know people in that. I don't know anybody in whatever shield, whatever they're talking about.
Legal shield.
Right? Because people are gonna try their whatever. You know, everybody wants some fame and nobility. Anybody in the chat got a question? We got a few minutes left before call this a night. Any of you new Moors out there got any questions? I'm looking at the chat right now. So if you got any school questions for Brother Yusuf, you could ask school questions, whatever. You got some time. Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad you said that too. Speaking of school, I'm holding a note in my hand right now. My son got this at home Friday from his teacher. It says, "Hello. Every student was given this worksheet to provoke prior knowledge. My son refused. Now, the paper they sent home was a paper full of different countries, continents, and states, so-called states or whatnot, and they were asking them, what country were you from? And the thing was, you had to circle what they put down for you, and they didn't even have, like, if somebody was from China in their classroom, they didn't have that on the paper, and it was just bugging me out just because of that part. Forget everything else, just on that. But when my son brought it home, I'm looking at the paper. So I asked my son, we're talking about it. I asked him, because I want him to tell me what he's thinking. So I said, I asked him, so why didn't you fill it out? He goes, I asked him, why didn't you fill it out? And he says, I just didn't know how to spell it. And I was like, how to spell what? And he goes, North. He couldn't remember how to spell a Mexum. Now, what he was gonna do was basically redo the contract again. Everything on it, he knew that it didn't pertain to him. So he was gonna write it on the paper. Yeah. Because they were saying, well, circle where you're from. Circle your country. It wasn't on there. So my son, or they didn't have Morocco on there or nothing like that. So he's writing everything in there. And he's crossing out states, and he's like, well, I want to put the kingdoms. And I'm like, okay, well, cross out states and put your kingdoms. And he's putting the kingdoms, Tunisia, Tripoli, Algiers. Yeah. And this, my son's in 4th grade. Yeah. And he's doing all of this. All of this is going on. And I come in the house when my Moabite, she's holding the note, looking at me like, you got something to handle, you know what I mean? So I do what I'm supposed to do. My son, he's the best. He already knows. Like once it just went. And then they had like geographical areas, like basically landmine. And then it's fun to me too because it gets me to thinking like, okay, geographical area, like what would be a geographical area in Morocco, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, let's do the Amazon River. How about the Great Lakes? And stuff like that. And I'm like, because all that pertains to Morocco. That whole thing is Morocco. But me and my son looking at maps and what's here, but his thing was for another thing. It asked what like prominent places are in your country. And so what we did was we grabbed Brother Abdullah's book and we used that to put in the Moorish, the Moorish Divan, which will be the White House. So he put the Moorish Divan, then put in quotations, he put the White House because that's a landmark of the Moors, like that would be ours and stuff like that. And I'm like, looking at him like, and then when he asked me, how to spell Morocco and the Mexum and stuff like that, now, I looked at him like, what do you mean you can't spell Morocco and the Mexum? But then I had to calm all the way down. Why? Because I didn't learn how to spell Morocco till I was 30.
Say he's got a few on you.
He's 10. Okay?
He's got a few on you.
So I had to calm all the way down.
Oh my gosh.
10-year-old. I already know. A Mexum, we already know how to spell it. Morocco. I didn't know that until I was 30.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Never even heard of these places. So yeah, don't and teach your children the truth. Don't walk around, oh, I'm worried what they're gonna. Don't worry. They're not gonna say anything. They're not gonna say nothing because they know the truth. Mm-hmm. They know. Yeah. They know. They know when it's not. Don't worry about the fear. The level of respect that I get when I walk into my son's school is tremendous. It's unbelievable how they respect me when I walk in that school. They all know. They all know.
Hey, Najib said we have to start the show. Are you smarter than a Moorish 4th grader? Just remember, if anybody copies it, you heard it here first. Just remember.
Right.
Just remember, you heard it here first. It's on the record. If anybody steals it, just remember, we have all the Negro scholars up there going against the little wars.
He's 4th grade. He's going crazy. He's going crazy.
Said I wanted to write a Maxim. I couldn't spell it and shit.
You know, sometimes, you know, every day I want to take them out of school. I know how that's important.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my son teaching everybody in that school.
Maybe
you got he comes home like, man,
no, I was gonna say maybe that's why he's there.
Right. He teaching them.
Exactly.
Waking up mad too. He be waking up mad. Like, I gotta wake up and go to work. He can't teach. That's what it is. Cause he teaches. He go in there to teach everybody. He go in there to teach everybody. And he tell me, he come home, he be like, Mr. Spencer wanted to know about your title. I'm like, who's Mr. Spencer? Like, I don't even know who these people are. Teachers going up to my son, asking him questions about me.
Yeah.
What does he wear on his head and stuff like that? Like, why y'all?
What you mean he's a bait?
Yeah, right. Going up to the fourth grader, questioning him. He come home asking me, and I'm like, what do you mean? Because they questioning my son. They going up to him, asking him.
That's crazy. That's
so
crazy.
You can't. Don't think. You know, as long as you teaching them at home, when they go there, it's gonna be easy, man.
Yeah.
That stuff is easy to them.
That's the main thing. Teaching at home.
Like I told my mom the other day, my son might be the only person in the human in the world, natural person in the world. When he does fourth grader, when he does his homework, he uses a Black's Law dictionary. That is the truth.
That's the facts right there. Well, let me. More set this one up. I'll ask you this one. What do you think about the birthright citizenship and it being ended by Trump? Moore's questions. Moore's always got the questions, yo. Moore's always got the questions.
I love it. Now, I know the more knows that, well, because we can look at that a lot of ways, man. We can look at that a lot of ways.
Yeah,
you know, like
every way is a lesson. Islam Paki, man. Every way is a lesson. Yeah.
So we can look at that any type, you know, because you can look at that like he's teasing the people, because we all know the 14th Amendment is fraudulent. Everybody knows that. Before Trump said that, there's YouTube videos on that for years about the 14th Amendment being BS.
Yeah.
Years. Trump just said that last week. You could type in 14th Amendment being unconstitutional on YouTube right now. There's videos from 10 years ago going in on that. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's not even. But then, okay, remember Trump. Okay, let's not forget Trump's not stupid. He might be up there acting like he dumb and like he don't know nothing. That man said, I'll never forget it. Trump was in that debate with Hillary. He said, I don't pay taxes because I'm smart. I said, now see that? Did y'all hear that man right there? He said that in a debate on national television. I don't pay taxes because I'm smart. Now, everybody keep thinking Trump is a fool. That man not a fool. Now, and another thing, you can look at it too, like, because a lot of people saying, you know, United States and the so-called Jewish problem that they have, because I don't know, a lot of people didn't know, but these modern Europeans, they don't like each other. They make it seem like the Jews and the Europeans, like the so-called Jews and the Europeans, like they're not the same people.
Yeah.
But they're the same people in our eyes, but they don't like each other. The Jews in the so-called United States, they don't like each other. They don't get along at all. So with Trump saying, you know, he's a nationalist, he knows that Jew is not a nationality. So he could be giving them a side, you know, this with that too. Like, you guys been looking for a land to stay in all you guys' lives. You can just be aside just to the Jews because it's all in my or because we all know the Moors bring up birthright. We can go back to that. Only people who speak of birthright is the Moors. Nobody talks about birthright until the Moors start talking about birthright. So you can look at it that way too. Like, did he just give a shout out to the Moors with saying that? Like I heard, I got one of you guys rich. It looks like you guys was telling the truth. Like I know about you. You know this your land, and it's about birthright.
Yep.
And what Trump did, and we've been saying this too, Green Sheet. If anything, what Trump is doing, he's gonna start making them so-called black people go start reading some books, start reading that Constitution.
Yeah.
He's gonna force them to. Now, because all of a sudden, everybody's talking about the 14th Amendment. They ain't never even mentioned that word before.
Yeah. All of it. Everybody's a 14th Amendment scholar now.
Right. Out of nowhere, everybody can break down the 14th Amendment. Y'all haven't even said that. Never. Ever. Nobody was never talking about amendments, period. That's why I said Trump is, for them to even be talking about amendments. What president even bringing that up? Like, we're going to take an amendment away. Now you got to go think, okay, what amendment, what's in that amendment? What's that pertaining to? Because you got to know who is he talking to. And if you got any sense, you'll see. So the 14th Amendment came off of the Commerce Act. Commerce Act came from the Reconstruction Act of 1867. So that's where the so-called United States citizens, because they are for black people or whoever calls themselves wants to be a United States citizen, you so-called United States citizen, you go underneath the 14th Amendment. Because the United States is a corporation.
Ding, 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 ding.
You can't be a citizen of Walmart. You can't do that.
You can try. You can go ask, but you're probably not gonna get a favorable reply. You want to get your Walmart license. Your Walmart social. Should we get a Walmart social? You get a Walmart social. You get a Walmart social quick fast. One had cut, probably charger, need a charge. Questions out there more? 4 minutes. If the 14th Amendment can be taken away, then that can't be my nationality. Exactly. Has nothing to do with you. Nothing. Well, if Walmart's taking citizenship, people will be up in there to be a Walmart citizen. Trust that. Everybody's doing anything to get out from this U.S. Canada corpse right now. Authenticate the birth certificate. Yeah, more. Hold on. Phone's playing around. Yeah. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So any more questions out there, Morris? Speak now, forever hold your fez. We about to be out. I think we did some good today. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Islam to the good mother for inspiring class today. Just check in. Mother Ubuntu. Give thanks. Keep studying. Trust me, just keep studying. It's gonna most definitely be worth it.
Yep.
It's gonna be worth it, trust me. Islam to all the Moors. Don't forget, willofallah.com, Iron Sheik 7. Get it in. Iron Sheik 7. The WoW compilation. A few more stuff up there. willofallah.com. You have any closeouts more?
Yes, Islam to the Moors in the chat. Give thanks to the Prophet. And give thanks to you, Green Sheik. Open it up your floor. You already know that.
Islam.
Islam.
Peace and love, Morris.
Man, I see the strongest and smartest men who've ever lived. I see all this potential. That's the swamp. God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables. Slaves with white collars.
Marcus Garvey got my right, True Ali got my left side. Pulling for devil's hides with the valley of death stride. Blade dirty like it doesn't shower, tongue is the sword. Moorish master MC Moore, I self am Lord. Accent of Tony Martin and Kwame Ture. They poison Steve Coakley, exposing the black boule. Threatening Ivan Van Sertima with deportation. To his own land he's in, so you know some Masons are pulling strings to shut him up for saying Olmecs. Speaking the truth of those existing before Toltecs and Aztecs and Mayan. So-called blacks are the Hawaiian and the American and the free white man. Stop the blood clot crying. Irish nigga fighting a dancing monkey. Disgrace the race, slap a mumble rap chunky. Take your mask off, show you the future, give you nervous sweats. Listen to yourself singing about Molly and Percocets.
Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes. Working jobs we hate, so we buy shit we don't need.
I see y'all wearing skinny jeans and sagging and sports bra shirts. Calling Ho Chi to bury them in Calgary far outskirts. Too grizzly to bear. I fear falling off this frisbee, I swear. Never mind sight impaired, stay on my square. 7 and 4 quadrant ring. I'm on my knees, not praying. I'm strangling gin with rude raksha beads. Some might say mala, some might call it a Buddhist chain. In times of war, everything is a weapon just the same as everything above has a below. Check the facts in stone. If you can find one, ask a pharaoh. What Orion and Sirius have to do with the plateau of Giza. Ancestors thought project place to place like freezer. Moorish scientists, Sufi, shut up and down believers. Make those with little faith become ancestral receivers. Through signs and symbols, rhymes and signals. Either abandon or get your birthright like a retriever. Abandon or get your birthright like a retriever. No need to bring it back, you need no shepherd. Stop being a sheep, black, stop wasting effort. Stop letting traitors chill, drop them off in deserts. I buzz at dinner, a sellout, before I get the hell out. I listen to what Drew Ali taught, he didn't have to yell out. Ref, bring the bell out, Shango, the chicken heads out. Merge shaman stones and tiger eyes, help the spell out. Cool Bay, the reason El Shabazz and Ali fell out. Moors disgruntled and watching people with brows crumble to be exalted, but praise themselves, never humble. Begging for props, what the segregation, but calling the cops, then calling them racist after someone gets shot or beat to a pulp or choked out. R.I.P. Their ancestors let your devil self haunt their dreams. Tortured forever and ever, have peace never. So low, make their head hurt with volumetric pressure.
Children of history, man. No purpose, no place. We have no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives.
Yeah.